Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us here. I know people are facing some problem in joining. That's why we're giving it about 5 to 6 minutes, but I think it's 6 minutes over time. So we will start and start slow, but as we move onwards, I think we should be able to catch up. So, formally, welcome to this session on 5 E's to empower student agency. I think it's about time that we talk about instructional models or the inquiry models that really work. Both NEP 2020 and NCF 2023 emphasize on the need for integrated instructional units, and it becomes imperative for all of us to, pause to ponder how is it that we can bring this into our classrooms and bring learning closer to our students. So, as we move onwards, I invite you to scan the code that's on your screen, and we'll also drop this in our chat window so that we can give you you can have access to our Instagram page. We urge you to please go ahead and follow us there. We Our followers are increasing by the day, and I'm very happy to share that we now have about 1100 plus educators who are a part of this community. So, absolutely amazing to see the love that we have received. Also, we have our YouTube channel. So, I'm just going to give you link to our YouTube channel as well. Please, follow us there for all the recordings that have happened till date. The sessions that have happened till date, the recordings are available over there. So you may refer to these links so that you can access, you can easily access the gone by recordings. So, as you join in, let me ask you this friendly question and request you to go ahead and introduce yourself here, and also let us know your favorite type of cupcake. So, what's the kind of cupcake do you like? I know it has taken time for you to come in, so why not offer you a cupcake? So, use the chat window to please talk to us. This is going to be interactive. You will stay hands on. We'll be sharing links with you. We'll invite you to go ahead and be interactive, play around with the interfaces that we share with you here. So stay absolutely interactive here. So let's go ahead and introduce ourselves in the chat. Add your name, your school, your city, and just for fun, let me know what is your favorite type of cupcake. At this point, I'll also let Duhita introduce herself before I move onwards.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to see you all over again. And yes, it's a yummy treat that is right in front of me, at least, and definitely for all of you to choose one out of all these delicious cupcakes. Welcome to the session. Please keep it engaging. Our eyes will be on the chat window. Feel free to share your thoughts and queries over there, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Duhita. Thanks for saying hello to everybody. And, as we are looking at responses coming in, let me catch the cupcakes. Mehek, I didn't catch your cupcake. So thank you for joining, but do let us know your favorite, the type of cupcake, the flavor that you like, whether it is, blueberry or chocolate or dark chocolate or red velvet, whatever you like, vanilla, butterscotch. I've given you so many flavors. I'm sure your mouth must be watering. Well, so it is for me. But, it's always nice to get to know you all as you join over here. So do take to the chat window. Stay very interactive, please, and let's talk. Okay, today we are here to talk about 5 E's. Here they are. Cookie Oreo. Oh, that sounds yum. Thank you, Mukta ma'am. Blueberry, your way. Okay, fantastic. So, the 5E inquiry model. So, this is an inquiry based instructional model that can serve as a guide during both design and implementation of any type of instruction, especially during STEM instruction or STEAM instruction. This 5E inquiry instructional model is based upon the cognitive psychology and constructive theory to learning and the best practices in STEM instruction. So, 5E learning cycle leads to students through 5 phases as are in front of you. First one being engage, next one being explore, following that will be explain, next will be elaborate, and last will be elaborate and evaluate. So these are the five basic pieces of this type of learning cycle. I, for one, have been a very firm believer of learning cycles, and I feel that they just help me organize my thoughts better and also allow me to make sure that I have taken my students through the entire piece, and it's just not a kind of a stop shop that I'm doing where I missed something in just because I wanted to cover the syllabus. So the 5E instructional model actually brings around coherence to different teaching strategies that I want to use in my teaching learning and provides connections between different education activities. So, there's a kind of a progression. While I start a topic, let's say today I started a topic on cupcakes, right? So, what do you think about cupcakes? How can I bring it into my classroom? For example, today I brought it into my classroom to offer to you. Now, my whole objective here is when you choose a flavor of cupcake for yourself to tell me this is you, this shows me the uniqueness of you. This helps me in grouping. While I have to group you for group work, it gives me an idea. Okay, these two have similar taste in cupcakes. So I could actually do a cupcake grouping as well. So let's say I were to create breakout rooms right now. I could have actually used this strategy and gotten you engaged. Now, what has happened is I've immediately gotten you engaged, which means I gave you a challenging situation, that is to share your personal favorite with others, and you used your prior knowledge of cupcakes to let me know which cupcake is your favorite one. So you're immediately engaged in this conversation. You're not just listening and sitting and listening. You're actually interacting. You're writing in our chat window your responses. It just suddenly brings you into my room and makes you a part, and gives you a sense of belongingness. So that's exactly what we are trying to do over here. We're trying to use this 5E model to bring in more of cohesiveness, more of coherence in our teaching models, and that there should be connection between educational activities that we do. Compared to the traditional models, the 5E is basically it's a learning cycle that results in greater benefits with students concerning for scientific inquiry. So every piece that we teach goes into this cycle where we take students on a journey of learning rather than just saying, today we're going to talk about healthy food and not so healthy food. So we recognize that cupcakes are my students' favorite. I cannot take that away from you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to unpack it for you in such a way that you will be able to make informed choices. Yeah, so that's the kind of inquiry model that we are talking about. If I were to talk about, the term that I used when I began this session, it was in integrated instructional unit. That's exactly where our world is moving towards, especially in India right now. We have a lot of, love for these kind of learning models. And what integrated instruction units do is they just interweave the experiences with other types of learning activities. For example, you interweave lectures with reading, with discussion, not just one way of delivery, but having multiple methods to engage. Now, as we do so, students are engaged in forming questions, designing or different types of solutions or responses, and executing their own research, gathering, analyzing data, constructing arguments about what they're saying, why they're saying so, and also probably drawing conclusions. That's why we say it's more scientific by nature, because the basis on which this is built is a scientific inquiry. However, you can take it to any subject area, and I'm going to just shortly share with you multiple examples of how we can take it to various learning subject areas. So, whether it is teaching, learning, or assessments between diagnostic, formative, and summative, we can actually embed this instructional sequence, and you can gauge students developing understanding and promote self reflection in their thinking. Now, this integrated instructional unit has two main features. First one is that of creating a scenario for them, a kind of an experiment or a kind of a inquiry, and the other one is experience. So these two have to be very carefully designed or selected on the basis of what students should learn at the end of the day. It's very easy for an inquiry to just become a fun activity. However, if orchestrated properly, then this could actually be a very enriching experience. Yeah. So, what we are talking about right now is looking at ways in which we can create experiences that are explicitly linked to and integrated with other learning activities in the unit and not just standalone activities to be performed. For example, I want to, I want to do adjectives in my class today. So I might play a game of, let's say I give half my students a noun, half my students an adjective, and I'll say, you know, find your pair and make a sentence. Now, that is a standalone activity. But if I were to build an entire cycle based on this 5E inquiry based instructional model, I'm going to think about, okay, how am I going to engage students into this activity? So what I'm going to do is probably I would bring an apple, I would bring the word apple, and I would say red. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and find my partner. Somebody has red and I have this, and I'm going to join. Now these are instruction. This is not the way we engage. How we engage is we leave the strips on students table and we say somewhere on this table you have a partner. So let's say there are 5 or 6 students in a group. We leave 6 words which are very carefully chosen between nouns and adjectives, and we say find your pair. So as they find their pair, they will immediately say, ma'am, this is my pair. Now we are going to say explore. Is there only one word with which you can pair it, or are there more words with which you can pair? So what I'm doing is making space for them to investigate, to find out, and to form a thought of their own to help understand that apart from apple being red, could it be something else also? Maybe it is juicy. Maybe it is small. Maybe it is big. So you could actually attach a lot more adjectives with that. So that's where my students are exploring that apart from red being the adjective with apple, what else can be there? Next, explain. Now, when we say that, now that you've gained a new knowledge, explain how do you say that this is also connected. Write me a sentence to tell me or describe this apple using both these adjectives or maybe more. And that challenges my students. I'm only asking them to pick 2. But believe you me, when it comes to students, they will try and find more adjectives not only on their table to match, but the adjacent tables also to match. And then we say elaborate now. How has your knowledge about this piece deepened? Which means elaborate by giving me 2 more adjectives that are not there on your table, but you can think about for describing an apple. That's where I ask them to elaborate their and know if they have actually deepened and extended their understanding or not. Lastly, I evaluate this by asking the child who has the word apple to go to the next table, and the other from the other table the nouns to come here. So we do an exchange of noun, and now we say, now find new adjectives, as many as you can on your table, and create a sentence. So you see how I've actually made just about an activity about nouns and adjectives to be so wholesome and inquiry based, and that students are following a cycle. I hope I'm making sense to you. Do share your thoughts in the chat window to let me know if what I'm talking makes sense. Nidhi ma'am, you're saying that the screen is not visible. Not a problem. I'm just going to share my screen once again, and then let's see if it's better. Otherwise, I will go ahead and make a change for you. Trita ma'am, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Thank you. All right. So here we are. So what are our learning goals here? What am I doing after out of such a well planned lesson? What I'm trying to achieve is enhancing the mastery of subject matter. It should be applied in any situation. They should be able to apply nouns and adjectives in any situation. Develop a scientific reasoning for what you're doing. understanding the complexity and ambiguity of work. I mean, you're giving me nouns and adjectives, you're asking me to join them. So it's a kind of an ambiguous work without formal instructions, and it is a nature that allows you to actually experiment, play around, inquire, find out on yourself, and also give you self adaptive and self learning habits. It helps in developing practical skills of the ones that I've just spoken and more. It helps in understanding the nature of science. So, oh, okay, to make connections, that's how you have to do. Go, you just don't have to think in the boundaries of what is being asked, what you're being asked to do. But just moving a little bit outside of the boundary helps you discover the unknown. And that's what really enriches your entire experience. So, cultivating an interest in science and learning science and developing teamwork abilities, all of this packed together with this piece of bringing in instructional integrated units is absolutely amazing. Let me start to dig deeper. The first stage, while we are on the engage stage, these are the things that examples that actually you can use for mentally engaging students with either a question or an activity. For example, I started the session today with with a question to you. What is your favorite type of a cupcake? So, immediately you're engaged. Picture observation. I'm just going to pause on picture observation. I'm going to pick it up in a bit. Video clips, very commonly used. So, I was teaching my students about water pollution. And as I was talking to them about water pollution, it is easy for me to, introduce that, but it's very difficult for me to engage them. Water pollution does not happen at home. It's not even around their house anywhere. So for them to relate to what is water pollution, they need to have either an experiential, trip. Let's say I took my students to the place where Yamuna enters Delhi, and I showed them how clean it is. And after it enters a few kilometers down, you see Yamuna getting polluted by uh, different ways. Okay, so that was one way of engaging them. That was one way in which I could get them going. Another one would be probably looking at demonstrations. For example, I show them that this is water. If there is a puja happening, the puja after the puja, people will immerse the idol. We've just had that. When they immerse the idol, and I bring in a little idol and I immerse it over there, and I show them that here, the colors bleeding, or I show them a video clip of while people immersed, look at the way the watercolor immediately changed. Do you know, along with the water, what else could have gone in? Coins, flowers, color which was synthetic, so chemicals, oils. So if I keep adding all of that in water, it just becomes real for them, right? They see all of that floating, and they see that the water will have a kind of a surface that is holding all of this. Or I could have kinesthetic activities, just the way I told you that I took them for a trip. Or you can give them free rides. What do you know about, water pollution, or what are you going to do? So whatever emotions they feel, whatever knowledge they have, they will pour it out. So while they do that, you could be doing so much with that information to know, oh, so this is your prior knowledge. I've gotten you engaged because you already know about this topic, but I'm going to help you build on your knowledge from here on. That is like honoring what you already know. Yeah. So I'm now going to go back to picture observations, because now it is do time. So, yes, it is time for you to do something. Here you go. So, as I go over here, sorry, one more thing. Before we get into that, here are some of the more ways in which you can engage students. You can get into problem based learning, have components or online simulations. You can have collaborative projects with various apps. You can have concept map or a word map created of the words, if you don't want them to, just give them a Microsoft form with one word response, and you can actually create a word cloud. Yeah. So very easy for your concept map. It just saves you time. Create interactive websites that others can connect and interact them with. and create videos, audios, exploration of a topic, or responding to questions. Now, while you do all of this, I want you to try this. Now, this is something, this is one which way in which I am engaging my students. I'm going to give you this link in the chat window as well. Okay, and you can go ahead and try this. You can scan this as you like it. I'm going to give you this link in the chat window. Just give me 1 minute and I'm giving you. You must try this. This is picture observation. Now, I know my students know about, a wonderful place. So you could go ahead and create this beautiful mystic place using my prompt. As you use this prompt, you will realize that this will take you to Microsoft Designer. You may have to log in, and it'll give you a photograph of, and it'll say a macro photo of. You could make a photograph of anything. I've given you one which is that of a terrarium with exotic plants on a hanging shelf with lush greenery are glowing and illuminate a miniature of waterfall inside. That's very imaginative, isn't it? Now, when you go over here, you will find that you can actually change these words. A terrarium with exotic plants is something that you can change into, probably. I don't want to put words in your thoughts. I'm going to pause here. I'll let you create, and then I'm going to ask you to show me what have you created. So go ahead and please create for yourself. Have an experience of this. I'm giving you the link in the chat window as well. Just a minute. Here you go. You have the link in the chat window. Please go ahead and use that and show me what have you created using this link. I'm waiting for you. Please go ahead and create. No fun that I keep talking. I want you to experience it. I want you engaged. Just download the image, share it in the chat window. I'd look forward to getting images from you. I've given you a prompt. That prompt is my imagination. You can turn it into yours or use mine as you like it. Still creating. I know the internet can play up a little bit, but we'll give it a few minutes and let's see if you're able to create something, even if it is using the same link as I did give you, or the prompt that I gave you. Anyone has been able to create? For those of you using, Microsoft Designer for the first time, let me take you there and show you what it looks like and how you work in it. Here you go. When I gave that prompt and generated an image, these are the images that got created. What beautiful images. Look at that. A macro photo of a terrarium with exotic plants hanging on a hanging shelf, the lush greenery glowing and illuminate a miniature waterfall inside. So imagine if I were actually starting a unit on, let's say I was starting it on habitats, or I was talking about landforms, Or I could even talk about, different types of water bodies. This is one that I have created. You could actually have an ocean in this, globe that I've just given you. You could have a snowball also, whatever you like. So, here's a waterfall, here's another image, here's a third one. So you see over here, maybe you want to place some butterflies inside this, you want to have some glow bugs inside this, whatever you feel like. So it's up to you, the way you can make your imagination run wild. What happens when we do such a thing? So I'm just going to stop sharing. And all you need to do is, while you're here, just see the one that you really like and download it. Okay? Simply just download this image. That's it. And I'll show you, I'll go back to see if you've been able to create something, and I will take you onwards from here. All right, so here we are. I hope you've been able to, create something. How I engage my students right from the beginning is they got an activity to do. They're not just passive listeners. They also are, consumers over here, and active consumers at that. Now, as you create, you can actually see how very immersed you are. Now, there are other things that you can do over here. Amongst other things, could be, for example, what I do is I send a reflect, back home over a weekend. Let's say Friday I'm sending, and on Monday I'm beginning a unit on fractions. I'll say, sharing is caring. What do you think? So I'm going to initiate, and they'll be very surprised. Why is the math teacher saying sharing is caring? Right? And what does she want? So they don't suspect anything. And when they come back on Monday, I pick up their responses from there and see how they feel about sharing, right? And I give them four options to choose from. Now, as they do that, they already are intrigued about what am I going to talk about. So when you're sharing something, or you're you a usual one would be, I'll bring a chocolate, and I'll tell children that, you're 10 of you, but I have a chocolate that has 6 pieces and you need to divide equally. How are you going to do that? So I immediately have engaged my students and saved my time over here. Already I have the response, and now from here on I can move onwards. Or I could simply just send out a simple poll, anything that you feel is more appropriate, or just using Microsoft Form, I could use one question to respond. How am I going to do that? I'm just going to talk about it. So moving to the next stage, and that is of exploration, one of my favorite stages. The exploration phases provide students with a common base of hands on activities. Like, for example, in my water pollution unit, I had I had used, a kind of a research, not a research actually, form a hypothesis and test the hypothesis kind of a situation. So the various tasks that you can do are, they must be hands on. That is something that is a must with exploration. It has to be experiential, right? So try and form something wherein you are able to give your students an opportunity to find something on their own, form a hypothesis, test it, and gather data about it if required, analyze it and interpret that data, and then draw a conclusion, and then communicate that result so that we can clarify that, whatever you have found out is right or not. For example, like I was saying, that, I'd kept an experiment on my table where I had ice cubes, below. Sorry, I had hot water in a transparent jar. I had a glass plate on top of it and ice cubes placed on that. And I was at the door because somebody visited, and my experiment was on my table. And you can imagine, if there is hot water and ice, so obviously, droplets will start forming. And you know what one of my students told me? Ma'am, while you were gone, you know what happened? Rain in the jar. It started raining in the jar. So imagine, these activities help students to connect themselves to the prior knowledge, to inquire, to generate new ideas. Have you even heard of, rain in a jar? Oh, again, you can't see my screen? Okay, hold on. Just give me a minute, please. Okay, I hope it is visible now, right? So, what happens is it just changes the game in my class. My students started thinking about what was going to happen. They had no idea that that's an experiment on water cycle. So, this is grade three I'm talking about. And children are very inquisitive at this stage and they start talking. So, that's exactly where I am taking them with their exploration. So, I said, okay, if it's raining in the jar, what do you think is happening? So, they started giving me terms, and I said, okay, open your books and this chapter, and now tell me what's happening here. So, they started forming an idea of their own rather than me driving them into knowing what is evaporation, condensation. They read, and children always want to sound intelligent, right? As if they know it. And I gave them that confidence that, yes, you know it. And therefore, I gave them that opportunity to play with that experiment, to say, speak, think whatever they feel is appropriate. So there was no right, nothing that was right or wrong. So this phase of learning cycle usually incorporates the main inquiry based experience that you have designed to for students to explore the concept. And this nurtures students understanding, and exploration experiences provide students with with a lot of clarity, especially misconceptions that they might have, or the commonly made mistakes that they make later, because the idea formed wasn't right. Also, they acquire skills of identification. Conceptual change is facilitated, and learners may also want to use their prior knowledge to generate new ideas. For example, rain in the jar, then explore questions and possibilities. And you know what they explored in questions and possibilities? They told me, ma'am, what if the ice cubes were at the base of the hot water jar instead of on top? So I said, okay, if you want to try that, let's try that. Obviously, I can't allow my students to touch hot water, so I did that for them. And I placed the glass plate with ice cubes, and then on top of that, I placed the jar with the hot water. What do you think happened? My students said, ma'am, rain is now happening outside of the jar. Yeah, they might not still be able to, they were still in a mischievous way. So, what I did was I designed and I conducted a preliminary investigation, and then I invited them to make sense of it by reading the definitions in the book, and always some of them are good readers, great readers, and other ones benefit from them, and they start using words like evaporation, condensation, and then they defined where it was happening. Now you see how communicating their results is a game changer over here, and how it just turned the tables. Similarly, you could use more ideas over here. Videos. Videos work very well. Blogs or podcasts or videocasts or data collection or search coach in Teams work very well. Here's my example, another one. I use this in my one of my sessions, and I'm going to use this right now with you. So the question that I'm asking you right now is the pedagogies you use. So what are the pedagogies that you use in your class most frequently? You have to answer in just about one word. Okay. So you can go ahead and scan this, or I'll give you the link in the chat window, and you can use that link to respond to this question. So please go ahead and respond to this question, and I will show you what the results are. Okay. So right now I do have this word cloud already made. Oh, such a beautiful one. Thank you, Nidhi ma'am, for sharing your amazing image and your prompt as well. Diverse landforms of Earth through designer. Fantastic. I've also given you the form in the chat window. Go ahead and answer or respond to this, question. And I'll tell you what is the basis of this question. I want to know what pedagogies do you most frequently use. So I was taking a session on digital pedagogies, and I wanted to know what are the pedagogies that are being used most frequently by our teachers who are in my session. Now, while they were in our session, I need to know my audience better. and then I need to build on that. And therefore, I use this approach where I could actually very quickly get a view of what my learners think. So they know about integrative approach, they know about constructive approach, they know about collaborative approach, they also know about carousel approach or adaptive learning or collaborative learning. It just gives me a view. So I very quickly conducted an inquiry. I engaged them, by helping them respond to this, and also at the same time I was able to bring bring a hypothesis on my table to imagine or reimagine that, oh, okay, probably they would have actually done this, or they must be thinking like this. That is why I'm getting this sort of a response or these kind of responses. So yes, I've got one additional response over here. This word cloud pretty much looks like what it was. I have now got extra responses. So thank you for responding to this question. But this just gives me a peek into my audience so that I'm able to bring about, a kind of a agenda and present to you in a way that I know you better. Yeah. So these kind of word cloud can really help you explore what's on your audience's mind. The next one, which is the third one, is explain. I don't think I need to explain this. However, I will make an attempt. Explain is basically, you know it better than me, right? Explaining concepts and skills introduced in the explore phase. So that is the connection that we are making. This is just not explaining something, but we have to make a connection to the explore stage. For example, the students have already understood that some kind of a process happens when that water cycle is happening, but they don't have the vocabulary to attach to that, right? They don't know the definitions, they don't know the big words of condensation, evaporation, precipitation. Now this is my time to help them explain. Not I am not explaining, help them explain to me what this means. So I've already told you this was our next step. Why this was our next step was because this wasn't an experiment just to have fun. While you have formed these hypotheses and while you have come to a conclusion about it, and you have confirmed that your hypothesis was not very far from what is true, we are able to offer to you a, a formal language or a scientific language to go with it. Yeah. Similarly, let's say I was teaching fractions and I've given those chocolates to those 10 students, for the 6 chocolates to be divided to 10 students or 12 chocolates to be divided to 10 students. That is exploration. They need to explain to me what methodology did they use to actually arrive at a fraction of the chocolate that they got. So that is what is explanation. Yeah. So then they are going to probably bring in more clarity into why they did that, right? Interactive presentations is what they could make. They could take help from textbook. They could read what fractions are and help me, or read about water cycle and tell me, okay, so these are the terms. I could even give level readers to students and articles. For example, I remember I brought a reading comprehension for my students. It was a story about a droplet, and that droplet had fallen from the sky. Now, where will it go? That is a water cycle on Earth, relating from a jar to Earth, literally from smaller to bigger. Connections is what we were making. So we brought level reading for that. Additionally, articles where we said that it rained like anything today, but the water has reduced. The roads are safer now. How come? Water got reduced. What happened? Where did the water go? So all of those kind of questions or thoughts where we can actually get our students to think about what's happening is what we do in explanation. We could be doing digital storytelling. I love that, absolutely love that. So for example, a very common one on that would be plant growth. Not just plant growth, I also invite them to study a leaf. So for example, we were doing photosynthesis and we created a whole story. I said do a digital storytelling on photosynthesis. So let's say chlorophyll. They said, ma'am, there are different characters that live within a leaf: chlorophyll, chlorophyllus, chlorophyll. Chlorophyll. So there are many characters that live who work together to make plant food. I said, that's a great story. So tell me what happened next. They said that every day they would go to work and they would work throughout the day till there is sunlight, and once the sun is set they would go to sleep. I said, fantastic. So they made comic strips on PowerPoint to share this with me. Yeah. And I said, so what happened next? Where, how did you learn about photosynthesis? They said one of the characters, chlorophyllin, slept on a leaf. So he slept and no one noticed that he slept. So he slept for 24 hours, and the next day when he woke up, chlorophyllus came and said, oh, look what you did. So when chlorophyllin got up, he saw that there was a brown patch on the leaf. He said, oh my God, I think I slept on the leaf and the sunlight could not reach it. And therefore it has turned brownish, or it has turned dull. And then Chlorophyllus said, oh, don't worry, I understand. You were very tired, and I think the leaf should recover in a day. We will take special care of it. So, you know what? Plants take care of themselves is a concept that they formed all by themselves. It was such a beautiful, heart touching story that it was very heartwarming to see that the students could go beyond to think. Now they could be podcasting about it. They could say, there are green leaves which are turning brown in my area, but sun's coming every day. So what is the impact? So it's the impact of the season or the weather. So it is the fall season, therefore the leaves are going to fall. So what I'm trying to tell you here is there are various formats in which we can offer students to explain their concepts, and these are some of the concepts that I'm talking about. And of course, for vocabulary development, we have immersive reader built across Word, OneNote, Teams, forms. We have immersive reader available everywhere for for our students to understand, better what they are being taught. There is picture dictionary built within, so they hit a word or they click on a word, and not only can they hear that word can be translated into various languages, and also there is a picture that will pop up that will help improve comprehension about that word. So you could be clicking on any of these words, and for most of the words you will find an image, which is available through the picture dictionary in immersive reader. So vocabulary instructions, you don't have to really give them always. These are available, and these are some of the tools that we can help students. For example, I gave them a reading comprehension on water cycle. Now, they might not understand every word over there, but they can always use this kind of a picture dictionary to understand the meaning of the words that are not known to them. Um, I'm going a little fast here, but if you want me to slow down, do let me know. And if there are any questions, Durita ma'am, please let me know. Additionally, I spoke about leveled passages within within your reading progress. Not only can you generate passages of your own, but there is a sample library which offers about 100 passages which are offered by ReadWorks, and they are available for you at no cost. So you can actually have leveled reading. You could either go grade wise, or you could go Lexile score wise, or you could even go word limit wise. Okay, so as you like it, you could offer your students reading pieces which are already available over here, or generate your own reading pieces as you like it. But these really help students build on their understanding and firm up what they have explored, and that also lends to them explaining the concept better because they like to use a language that is being used over here. Okay. Additionally, you also have Reading Coach available. Coach.microsoft.com is where you can go and find these pieces. The students can choose their own reading level. Even if they, let's say, are in grade 3, many of the students might not read at grade 3 level. They can go to grade 2 level, test if this example text is okay for them to read. And if they feel that this is fine, they can always carry on reading from over here, choosing their level. And of course, you as a teacher will know if they have attempted these words or not. And if they are able to, if you can see the word physical, the child could not speak at all initially. Then slowly started picking up some part of the word. And the third trial, the child was able to get this word. Well, how did they speak? You can always understand. This was divided into the child used the syllabification and picture dictionary to understand this word. So you have complete view to how is the child forming this understanding on their own. Words like atmosphere, landforms, glaciers, they're not easy to understand, right? And just imagine just about a picture can lend them into understanding the word and getting to the correct pronunciation as well. The fourth stage is that of elaborate. Very interesting. Elaborate. That's the place where most of our students get stuck. Now, this is where misconceptions get clarified. This is where our students conduct additional activities to apply their understanding, not to test, but to apply. Now, there's a huge difference between applying and testing, and you'll agree with me. So we give them situations, new situations, or similar situations where they could apply their understanding. What could they be? They could be anything. They could be debates. They could be passion based learning. I love that whole piece of passion based learning. For example, in water pollution, we gave them multiple scenarios. Water pollution happens all around. It can happen in a river, it can happen in an ocean. You feel very strongly about ocean animals. You feel strongly about people staying around the river. You feel very strongly about the water getting polluted in the water body right near your house, as you like it. So you choose your battle and you go ahead and elaborate, or use that ground to understand and convey your understanding or build on your understanding. So as we do that, elaboration phase becomes a stage where we students are encouraged to apply their understanding or the new understanding that they have formed while reinforcing these new skills. Now, students may conduct additional investigations, they may develop a product, they may share information and ideas, or apply their knowledge and skills in other disciplines as they like it. So, this stage in the learning cycle presents an opportunity for the teachers to integrate other subject areas or content areas here, and the teachers challenge and extend students conceptually, understanding and skills, though these are non-challenging situations. For example, I gave them a reading comprehension about a droplet that fell from the sky. Okay, and here I take an opportunity for my grade 3 students to write a story about Drippy the droplet who fell from the sky, landed in a lake. What happened next? Drippy the so I give different scenarios to different groups. Drippy the drop fell from the sky and landed on a mountain. What happened next? So these kind of new situations where they need to help me understand what is the complete water cycle. So through these new experiences, students develop a deeper and broader understanding, more information and adequate skills, because they're applying their understanding of the concept by conducting new additional engagements where they're challenged into new areas of interest. Now, what also comes out of here, what I want to, and why we've written careers here is what I want to talk about. Uh, we had we didn't have a science today, but then we did have month end letters going home. So while we send these letters, we always described what are we going to cover this month, or what we covered well this month, or what went well this month. So it was a look back and a look forward kind of a newsletter that used to go home to parents. We got an email from a parent saying, you know what, last unit that you did on water pollution, my child got very interested. We read in the newspaper about this, oil spill that has happened on the banks of the river in Punjab. And my child has written a letter to the CM, the Chief Minister, asking him what measures are being taken to protect the people on the banks and the marine life. Uh, so that was something that was amazing that happened. That child is now pursuing journalism. Do you see how and where the connection got made, and how this opportunity actually allowed my student? Now, I'm not saying that this was the only way in which he did it, but then it did happen, and that child had an opportunity to learn and move onwards and pursue the interest that they had. Similarly, we can do this in multiple ways. We can create forums for discussion. For example, We create communities, or communities who are concerned about water. So water protector, or we call them, I don't even remember the exact name, but I think we call them the, mm, I don't remember, sorry. But we formed a community of students who put their brains together as to how we could actually. I think it was Water Saviors. Yeah, Water Saviors is what we they formed a forum or a group where they would actually talk, and these are all moderated. These were teams, group chats that were created by teachers, and the students could actually talk over there. So whatever was there was moderated by teachers. Therefore, it gave a beautiful platform for students to discuss various ways. Product creation is another thing. You learned about fractions. Where will you use fractions in real life? Go ahead and demonstrate, and create a vlog, create a podcast, whatever you want on product creation. Virtual field trips, like I said, work absolutely amazingly well. After taking them to Yamuna River, where on the banks of Yamuna River, they really thought that rivers in India get dirty because we don't practice clean practices. Okay, we don't have a way to keep things clean, but that's not true, and you and I know that, right? Now we had to create another opportunity for our students to help them understand that there are rivers around the world that are polluted. So, we picked up various articles on water pollution, and we our keywords in the search coach were, so we used search coach for that. We wrote water pollution, and we also wrote across the globe, and different water bodies, lakes, rivers, ocean. So we wrote many water bodies. When we got the research, children were shocked to see it's not just here in Delhi or in India, but we had cases of water pollution happening across the globe. So we put up a globe. Now, this is where you become interdisciplinary. We put up a globe, and we said the minute you spot water pollution, you're going to go ahead and stick a gray dot on that country or that place, and you have to spot it on the globe, on the world map. So we put a world map on our wall to do so. Yeah. So then we brought in an expert. So in the Yamuna cleanup campaign, there are experts who help you understand how this was cleaned, and additionally, our own grade 12 students had gone to Yamunotri to understand how the river emerges out of the Gomukh, and then they saw how it got polluted and how people at various places as the river moves are working towards keeping or preserving the real form of that river. So they spoke to those. So those children came back, spoke to our students. You could actually we video chatted with some of the experts that they had met. This was a wholesome experience that we were able to create for our students, and we have many more examples like that. I spoke about debates. There are many opinions that are formed while you are doing exploration, while you are explanation. So many opinions are formed. I use others as one of my opportunities. Now you can use clubs, you can create debate clubs, invite students from other schools also to join your debate clubs, and have debates over there, meaningful debates. Have your rules and regulations running, have these chats moderated, but don't shy away from using technology, because it's actually provide you great space for good discussions to happen. Apart from that, I can share a document with you, which will give you about 50 ways to use M365. So I'm just going to drop this in the chat window. Just give me a minute. I'm doing so. And this will give you many, many ideas of what else can I do. Of course, we can host sessions like this, but like you can see, I'm almost on, up. My time's almost up, but because we started a little late, I don't mind, staying back and taking a few more minutes to help you understand this. Now, this is a slightly oldish kind of a document. It's not a latest document. However, the ideas given over here are amazing. So here you go. I'm sharing another resource with you. And thank you, Rashmi ma'am. I love the Williams Wordsworth's Daffodils by the Lake. Lovely image, beautiful image you've created. Thank you for sharing that with us. So here is a document. I've given the link in the chat window. Please take that link. It helps you understand more than 50 ways in which you can use Office 365 for education. The last stage is that of evaluate. I think this is teachers' favorite way. Why? Not because you want to test the students, but because you want to know, okay, what has been learned and what hasn't. You want to identify the areas of work. Therefore, students' review and reflection is most important. But more important than us knowing what has been learned or not, it is extremely important for the child to know himself or herself what is it that we have learned. Self assessments are the biggest piece of assessment. Self review, self reflect. These are the three pieces that I would give utmost importance to. Performance based assessments are another type of assessments that must start coming in. Portfolio of students work. Oh, you have amazing tools to create that, and I can show you one or two. Claim evidence reason. I love this. So even while we are doing assessments, give them more scenarios, give them more real based connections, and tell them, claim this image, what this image conveys. Give me evidence as to what you're saying, why you're saying so, and also give me a reason as to why should I accept the evidence that you are giving me. And of course, there are final presentations that you can always make. Yeah. Some which ways in which you can do video feedback on the product. Just telling them or giving them a written feedback, they will never go back to read. Please give them a video feedback. They would love to hear from you. What else could we have done or what could we have done differently? OneNote Notebook is my favorite piece. I'm going to show you some samples as well right now. AI based analysis and feedback. Microsoft Forms allow you to not just, and there are so many improvements that have happened in the upcoming sessions. We're going to touch upon so much that you can do in assessments using Microsoft Forms. You can not only just get evaluation done automatically, you even get analysis based on the questions that you had crafted for students. Which question was easy for students to answer, which one did they take, most of them did not get correctly. Gives you a peek into what topics within a topic that you need to revisit. And also it gives you analysis about each and every student, forms a great basis for you to have a conversation with the students, with the parents, give them ways to move onwards in their success journey, and insights help you monitor this progress. Now as students take that feedback from you, they go back and work on that feedback. They also gain insights. You also gain insights and monitor their progress as they move onwards. And of course, I can't, emphasize enough on the power of self and peer assessment. And I hope, my sentiments echo with you over here. Now, while I talk about evaluation, the evaluation phase must encourage students to assess their understanding and abilities and provide them opportunities to evaluate what is their progress till now and what are the objectives that they have been able to achieve. So both between formative and summative are appropriate in this phase, and it provides a non-traditional form of assessment that are more appropriate for evaluating what has been understood. Now, children may or may not be able to convey what in so many words, but sometimes their understanding becomes more clearer and apparent through portfolios, through performance-based assessment, through concept maps, through physical models, through journals, logs, and more. So I would highly encourage you to get into that. OneNote Notebook gives you great opportunity. So I use Class Notebook for student portfolios. Gives you great opportunity to create evidences of self-evaluation, goal setting, curation, revision, reflection, authenticity, and of course, recognition of areas of what it also gives you. Look at this piece. No, it gives me a peek into, okay, if my student was understanding something, they were actually trying to write something on their own also and add to the piece. This is a complete portfolio of learning that my student created for my student. Now look at this skeletal example. Now I've given them a chance to label this diagram. All they have to do is drag and drop over here. This just remains as a learning portfolio for me to refer to. So there are multiple things that you can do over here, and the learning cycle that we have discussed today, that is of 5E, is something that can actually bring about a lot of new ways of learning in your classroom. I sincerely hope that today I've been able to give you a peek into what what are the opportunities that lie with the 5E instructional model, and the coherence, of different teaching strategies that it brings along, and provides you connections between various educational activities that are happening across subject areas. It just helps you get into a more structured way of running, of designing and implementing your instructions. With that, I'm going to pause here and share with you. And thank you once again, for following us on Instagram. The handle is in front of you. I encourage you to go ahead and follow us. In the beginning of the session as well, I had given you, the link for both YouTube and for, WhatsApp. I'm going to drop that once again in the chat window. The recording of all the sessions is available on YouTube channel, and it is also available on Instagram. We always post our recordings on Instagram, and I know for the last session the recording is yet to be uploaded. I assure you within next 1 hour you will see on Instagram recording of the last session that it has been posted. Yeah. So if there are any questions in the room, I'm very happy to answer. Please go ahead and ask us any questions that you would like to. I'm giving you the link to our Instagram handle in the chat window. You can go ahead and follow us, and there are multiple short micro learning videos as well available here. You can go ahead, go through those, and you will learn, like, you can't learn everything in one go, but small bites, and is which we call as micro learning opportunities, they really really help you understand and unpack certain concepts slowly and swiftly. Additionally, yeah, here they are. So both the QR codes are here for Instagram and YouTube, and we will be sharing the recording of today's session by tomorrow, but for the last session you will see within next 1 hour the recording will be uploaded. So here they are, and you may please feel free to share this within your teacher community, and there is no cost attached anywhere. So please go ahead, help us grow in our capacity. We would love hundreds and thousands of teachers more on Instagram connected with us, so that we can share these learnings with them. Next session will be on 8th of October, that is next Tuesday. We will talk about harnessing the power of AI to build skills. And I know you will come back, so please, each one of you, come back with 5 more teachers at least. And your feedback is very important to us. I urge you to kindly share your feedback with us. We really really look at what you're saying. We make our best effort to be able to respond and accommodate the requests that are made. Therefore, please do give us a genuine feedback, and help us improve and make this experience better for you. So you can actually scan this, and I'll be happy to wait for as you scan this, and give us a feedback. And I know I am 8 minutes over time. I did start at 4:08, therefore not so bad. And of course, thank you so much for joining us here today. And we are elated to meet you here every Tuesday, 4 to 5 p.m. But my only request is, please go ahead and come back with more people. I have a request in the chat window that says, can you show the main slide of 5Es? Of course I can. Just give me 1 minute and I'll roll you back to the main screen. Just give me a minute. I will be quicker here. Just a minute. Here you go. Here are the 5Es at a glance. And I hope today's session has helped you gain a clearer understanding of how technology can help you bring in 5Es into your teaching learning processes. And I sincerely hope, okay, not visible. All right. Okay, just give me a minute. Hold on. Okay, just going to go up, give you full screen here, see if this is available to you or not. Okay, so you can see it now. So yes, this is all about 5 E's. And once again, thank you so very much for joining us here. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, that is 8th of October. And please bring along at least 5 educators, if not more. Let's grow this community as we can. Thank you so much. And yes, I'm going to stay back to answer any questions. I see one hand raised, Nageshwara sir. Your hand is raised. I am allowing you your mic. Please go ahead and talk to us. You can unmute yourself to talk, sir.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Very good evening, sir.
What you are sharing, we are very much get benefited, especially these 5 E's and every Tuesday what you are teaching us. Hope we'll
It's a
get the recordings also. We'll
certainly,
try to
sir.
implement in the classroom, definitely. So our students also will get benefited from our teachers. Thank you so much. Good day.
Most welcome, sir. And it's a pleasure to see you all come in here, speak to us, meet us. And all thanks to Lata ma'am, who's organized, everyone coming over here. A pleasure to see you all. And yes, recording will be available on our YouTube channel and on our Instagram. You can go ahead and take it from there, please. I have Bala Meenakshi ma'am over here. I have given you the rights to unmute yourself. Ma'am, please go ahead.
Namaste and good evening to all. Sorry, due to certain reasons, we were not able to join the sessions. Teachers of DAV group of schools, many of us. If we see the YouTube recordings, will it be the same session what you did today? Will it be available?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, thank you for joining us. And I'm sorry to hear that you were not able to join us, but we make our best effort that you are able to join us from next time. What we'll do is we will share an email which will carry the link once again so that it is smooth for you. So as for the YouTube and the just a second, I'm going to again project it here. Yes, all our recordings now and previous ones are available on both YouTube and Instagram. So if you follow us on these, you will get those. You'll be able to find those.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Most welcome, ma'am. Great, fantastic. Great to see all of you over here. And we really hope that, week after week, we see you here and let's carry forward this whole enthusiasm for learning more. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thank
And, we will see you next week. Thank you. Bye bye.
thank you so much.